Ben Johnson talks a little bit about trick plays and his thought process behind them. Dennis Allen gives props to Montez Sweat and the current run that he's on. And Declan Doyle has nothing but praise for Caleb Williams. We're going to talk about all these things, plus dive into the mailbag as it is mailbag day and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go and get into this content today, y'all. I want to start off talking about Dennis Allen and his comments in regards to Montez Sweat and how Montez has been performing over the last, 3 weeks in a row. I think he's gotten a sack in each of the last 3 games. Dennis Allen said this. He's performing really well for us all around. Run game, passing game, so it's good to see him get stats to go along with it. A lot of times there's some hidden production. I think there's a lot of that meat on the bone in terms of what we can get out of that. And so Montez has been playing a lot better. And, one thing we've been very critical over Montez Sweat here, not only because of, what he came in here initially. He was a Pro Bowler in 2023. What he brought here to the Chicago Bears, and when we first got him, led the team in sacks coming into that season. He came in that season on fire, right? And it has not quite been that. Now, last season, he did say he was hurt the majority of last year. We found that out after the fact. And he came into this season healthy, and, it hasn't quite lived up to that, but he is getting there. Now, the $98 million contract extension that he signed with the team, there's no doubt about it that he hasn't lived up to that as things stand right now, right? He struggled last year with just 12 QB hits, 5.5 sacks on the season as well. And a lot of people did have legitimate questions in regards to Montez Sweat, what his future of the team was, what his production was on the team. But while it did get off to a slow start this year, he had only 3 QB hits and 1 sack through the first 5 games of the season. He's really woken up over the last couple of weeks, and it seems as though, the last 3 games, he's starting to really find his momentum. He's starting to find a little bit of that edge back as well. And those are all really good things from him. He looks really good. He looks even more dominant as well at times. And he just looks like a really solid player that's putting in a lot of work. And you love to see that from Montez Sweat and what he's able to bring to the Chicago Bears team. And so hearing Dennis Allen give him praise is good. It's really good, as a matter of fact. And we just got to keep that up for Montez Sweat. And, a lot of that comes down to how the defensive line performs overall. And there's been some big concerns over how that defensive line has performed on the season. But, Austin Booker's back now. We made a trade for the edge at the trade deadline. And hopefully, throughout with depth, we're able to get some things together and we're able to make some things happen. At least that's my hope for this team, is that we're able to do that. But, Diota Yingbo has to be better. Andrew Billings probably has been the most solid, but he's has his things as well. Grady Jarrett has to be better. And, as we go through the ending part of the season where, like I said, out of the remaining games that we have left on the schedule, the 9 remaining games that we have, only 2 of those games are technically against teams we're probably going to be favored against. And even then, the Bears still can't take those lightly. So we're going to need this defense to perform. We're going to need this defense to really be better than what it has been for us to really get, to the place that this Bears team is aiming for. And they are aiming for a playoff berth and appearance, whether that's the wild card or anything else. And they may very well fall short of that. I want to be clear. They may very well fall short of that because they do have a gauntlet coming up. But, you need you need your weapons to be available out there. And Montez Sweat has shown himself to be a weapon on that defensive side of the ball here recently. A couple of weeks ago I said, he was struggling. I laid out a pretty simple thing. I said, listen, all I need you to do is to make your presence felt every game. Like, just make your presence felt. That's really it. That's all I want to see him do. And he's doing that a lot more consistently now for this Bears team, is making his presence felt. And that's what you need to do, is go out there and make an impact in every game, whether that's a big run play, whether that's, getting QB hits, whether that's a pass deflected. Go out there and make sure that when we leave that game, we felt that Montez Sweat was in that game, because for a lot of games, he was quiet to the point where it was like, hey, we paid $98 million for somebody who, like, we forget he's out there sometimes. And you just can't have that from a player that's getting paid as much as at an important position That's what Montez Sweat is. So it's good to hear that Dennis Allen is happy with what he's seeing from Montez Sweat. He feels it, but even then he says there's still a lot of stuff left there that we can still get. And let's hope that we see that, because if this Bears, defense starts hitting a better stride more consistently, I don't know how they're gonna do in the rankings, but if they can hit that better stride that we've seen them go into at places and get that consistently, this can still be a pretty solid team. So, we'll see what that brings. Well, let me know your guys' thoughts in regards to Dennis Allen and his comments on Montez Sweat down below. Now, let's get into what a lot of people aren't going to want to hear. And, the fact that there's still such stout Caleb Williams haters is always weird to me, right? But Declan Doyle, the Chicago Bears offensive coordinator, talked about Caleb, and he said this: what makes him special is those moments where it kind of speeds up for everyone else. It doesn't really speed up for him. In some ways, it slows down. He has great poise in those moments. He has great leadership in those moments. Our guys really feel comfortable with him in those moments. Now, I wish that extended to some Bears fans and they realize how good Caleb Williams actually has been in some of the better moments. Not to say that he doesn't have things he needs to overcome. We'll talk about that a little bit. But on 3 different occasions so far this season, Caleb Williams has led the Chicago Bears on final drives that led to game-winning scores or go-ahead scores late in the game. You look at the game-winning 58-yard touchdown throw that beat the Bengals, right? That's really good. And you've seen that, right? You look at the 2024 finale against the Green Bay Packers, which, if you add that in there, he's done that 4 times. Caleb Williams does show really good poise on fourth quarter situations and late game drives. He's literally done that since his rookie year. Now, we haven't always won those games if you date back to that, but he is good when it comes down to it. And when you look at Caleb Williams so far, he had a QB rating of 114.8 against the Bengals. That's the second highest of the season. He had 4 total touchdowns, tied for the most in 2025, 280 yards passing, a third most on the season as well. Caleb is putting together a season where he has progressed. And I get it. The expectations were extremely high for Caleb Williams when he was drafted by the Chicago Bears. You get drafted number 1 overall, you get the generational tag and all that. That's going to happen. No doubt about that, right? But when you look at where he's grown as far as an under center quarterback, picking up blitzes, recognizing those things better when it comes down to it. 12 touchdowns, 4 interceptions on the year, right under 2,000 yards passing with 9 games left to be played on the season. There's no doubt about it that Caleb Williams is going to, again, have one of the statistical best seasons of a Chicago Bears quarterback. But the question, of course, always becomes about, are we winning at the right rate while doing that? And that's where some things come, into question at. Caleb Williams, one of the places that, Ben Johnson tasked him to be better. And of course, Bears fans want him to be better as well as, 61.5 completion percentage on the season. Ben Johnson tasked him with, going out there and trying to aim for 70%. Now it's clear he's going to fall below that unless he just has one of the most efficient 9 games we've ever seen in quarterback history over the last 9 games, which, we'll see what happens there. There's no doubt that Caleb Williams needs to tighten those things up. I mean, he's a percentage behind the completion percentage he had last year, which is a reason for concern, But, Caleb Williams has grown in the right areas. And, I always stop myself short of saying that some unjust pressure or whatever. You're a starting quarterback in the NFL. There's going to be pressure. People are going to look at wins and losses like they're directly tied to only what you do. That's just something that comes with the territory. That's every quarterback goes through that. That's not unique to Caleb Williams, so therefore he's not going to get, an excuse made for that. That is what every quarterback that starts in the NFL, that is what they come against. That is the expectation. And so, the Bears sit right now 5-3 on the season. A fun 5-3, a fun season that's had its ups, has had its downs. The Bears have had their injuries, the defense, the offense, all those type of things that you want to look at. But when it comes down to it, at the end of the season, they're going to look at the wins, and they're going to look at Caleb Williams, and they're going to ask, all right, Caleb, why couldn't you get us more? Or whatever is left out there. And, we'll see what the future holds for that. Overall, we've now heard in successive days Ben Johnson talk about Caleb's progression. Now we hear Declan Doyle, another really great offensive mind, talk about Caleb Williams' progression. And, like I said, like people like to doubt that it's there, but it's there. It's there. We've seen it. It's evident. Like Caleb Williams has progressed as a quarterback. Of course, we just need to get it a little bit better, and we'll see if the Bears can do that. So no doubt about that. But let me know what you guys think on that down below. All right, with that said, let's get into the next one, the last one. Ben Johnson talked a little bit about his trick plays, right? And kind of the thought process that went into one of those trick plays. And, some Bears fans, Hannah called in on it. Darius has brought it up earlier in the season. some people ask, like, are those trick plays going to turn into too much of a gimmick for the Chicago Bears? And Ben Johnson said this. I believe that it was off a turnover, so we had a little momentum. I was looking to piggyback on that. It's just one of those gadgets when you're throwing it out wide, trying to get some young players on the defense to potentially have bad eyes. We had the ability to throw that ball down the field. They covered it well down there, but then we were able to throw it back across. So, it just shows that Ben Johnson does have a thought process. It's not about just doing trick plays just to do it, just to get cute, as some people has asked. But as I've said before, like, you don't want to make that too big of a part of your offense consistently. You do want to use it in the right and proper moments, and that's what it sounds like. Ben Johnson felt like that was a time where they can use it, and we used a couple of those. In the game against the Bengals. Now, when you're facing off a tougher competition, or if it's a closer game, you may not go to some of that. But the Bears. Ben Johnson is a creative offensive mind. Declan Doy is a creative offensive mind. Eric Bieniemy is a great offensive mind as well. So, like, when you get to those things, like, you're gonna work in some of that some. And you had DJ Moore throwing a touchdown pass to Caleb Williams. Like, that's crazy when you came down to it, right? Even Cole Kmet throwing a pass to Caleb Williams. So, when you have those things, it could fringe on looking a little gimmicky. But I think the Bears have a plan for it, and they use it in the right places. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. But with that said, it is mailbag day. It is Friday. Let's go ahead and get into these mailbags, man. This first one is from Corey Moe.
What's up, CBC? Look, this your boy Cham Mo calling in, or Corey Moe calling in from Little Rock. Look, I think we have a really good chance of making the playoffs, and I think we have a good chance of just having a good record overall. I really think we can beat the Giants, but we can't overlook their defensive front that they have. They have a stacked defensive line, but I don't know so much about the cornerback room. If we can put the ball in the air, light them up, run the ball, make them respect the run, we can beat them. I'm not worried about the Browns. I'm not worried about the Steelers so much. But we can't overlook him. That's Aaron Rodgers. Of course, he want to beat us one more time before he go out. Let's go out and put a whooping on his ass. The Eagles, man, they've been so up and down. They look like they're trying to fix their stuff, but, any team can be beaten on any given day. I expect for us to split with the Lions. I expect for us to split with Green Bay. The Lions beat us 51 to like 21. 52 to 21 or something like that. So we have a point to prove to them. And I think that might come down really to who's going to win the division. I don't think Green Bay going to win the division. I know we can beat the Browns. If they roll Dylan Gabriel out there, we can beat them. We just got to continue to, just go all in, man, and just be dogs when they come to each game, man. Just be dogs, man. Let's win these games, man. But we can't overlook the Giants, and Drip said that because they got their rookie quarterback, man. They lost Scatterboo. And Scatterboo was somebody that I wanted us to draft. I wanted us to draft Scatterboo, but we didn't. But Calvin Nungai is a dog. He's a dog, and he showed it with the touches that he had gotten in the past, and when he was the lead guy. Man, that dude went off damn near 200 yards on the ground, but he had a massive day through the air and the ground, damn near 200, if not 200 yards from scrimmage. So I think we could do it. I think we could pull it off, but we don't need to overlook anybody. The Steelers don't scare me. The Giants can be a trap game. The Eagles we might lose to. But I don't, I expect for us to lose to Green Bay. I expect for us to beat Green Bay in the second game. I expect for us to beat the Lions. I think we could take the Steelers. Man, that's just.
Bears have a good chance of making the playoffs. Well, we got a voicemail from Darius right after that where he's going to say no, but I will say, yeah, they can, right? The Bears can't overlook anyone. This game against the Giants, they can't overlook that. They got to come in this game prepared because, like you said, their defensive front is deep. But just where the Bears are, I don't care who the opponent is. I don't care if you put us here at Chicago Bears Central and the Windy City Breeze together to form a team, and we go out there and face the Bears. The Bears can't take us lightly, right? Like, you can't do any of that when you're a team that hasn't won much ever. Like, in the last decade, you haven't won much. So you ain't done shit yet. You ain't accomplished shit yet. And because of that, you can't overlook anyone. Now, can the Bears get to the playoffs? I mean, right now, there's statistically absolutely is a chance. They're going to have to tighten up some things, and they're going to have to get better at some things, and they're going to have some tough competition to get it better against. But I'm not counting this team out yet. And, we'll see where the season does go, Corey. But, overall, like you said, don't overlook anyone. Come in, compete, fight hard. If you do those things, usually good things come about. And let's see if one of those good things is going to lead into the playoffs for the Bears. Execution has to be the name of the game for the Bears in every single game that they're in, period. All right, let's get into this next voicemail, man. This one is from Darius.
What's going on, y'all? Bears from Dallas, man. Just wanted to call in real quick. After the trade deadline and all that done came and gone, I would say, like most Bears fans, I'm not, super happy about what we did at the trade deadline. I guess we'll see what this kid from Cleveland can do. Can't wait to hear C-Dub mispronounce his name. But I don't know what he's got. He fits that little Dennis Allen mold, and and that's awesome, man. That's fine. But I'm not really expecting much from him, to be quite honest. And I think we're going to face some of the same defensive struggles that we've been having. And I just don't know if you're going against good teams the way that we're winning, if it's going to be sustainable. For one, I think that you got a young quarterback who's still learning a new offense. Yes, is he making improvements? Of course he is. But that don't mean you can just sit there and go, okay, hey, Caleb, because our defense is bad, we need you to score 40-something points every week. Because that's what's going to have to happen, man. If we're going to continue to win games, probably going to be because the offense scored a lot of points. And I just think that that's too much pressure to put on a quarterback, and what's essentially his rookie year. So I'm expecting a little bit like an 8-9 season, about a 9-8 season, which is perfectly fine, man. Like that 9-8, 8-9, that's still an improvement from what we did last year and gives us something we can build on. But I just think that Bears fans, lower your expectations, man. I don't think we're going to the playoffs this year. I just don't. I don't see how you can have a defense that has given up. Now, mind you, secondary has been phenomenal, despite the injuries. But you're still relying on a lot of backup guys to come in and play Superman, and that's not realistic, man. We still don't have. We got Austin Booker. Looks like he's going to give us a little bit of pass rush, we hope. But I think maybe Ryan Poles was just looking at this and going, you know what? Why not? Why sell the farm right now when we're already showing improvement and we can just lock in on 2026 and get the play do the draft and make that our year that we make a run. So Bears fans, just if you lower your expectations, you won't be upset. But we're not going to the playoffs this year. I think the defense is just too bad, and we don't have the time or money to fix it. So, but we'll see, man. Check this up, bear down.
Doubt that the Bears will make the playoffs. I mean, listen, I can't knock you, just like I can't knock people for being optimistic. I can't knock you for being a little bit pessimistic about it. I don't think it comes down to Caleb Williams being Superman. So to say, I get why you say that for sure, but I don't think it just comes down to that. I think it comes down more so like we haven't consistently used our running backs. Like we've had some games of that for sure, but like if that becomes a wrinkle, do we consistently use Colston Loveland, Cole Kmet, Luther Burden a little bit more, when those guys are all healthy? If that, like, using those things, double down on that, what special teams gives us if they stop hurting us so much, like those type of things, right? As far as the Bears defense, like the Bears defense statistically hasn't ranked great, but we have seen that the Bears defense has done some really good things when the game matters the most and it's on the line. How many of those plays that you can make? I mean, we've made the playoffs with terrible offense. You can't tell me that we can't make plays with a defense that leads the league in takeaways and that, has stood up when they needed it the most. And, we'll see, right? I don't think fans should lower their expectations because I don't think the players are lowering their expectations. I think the players are coming into this like, oh, well, it's first year of a new head coach, second year of Caleb, we're not going to make the playoffs at school. No, don't lower your expectations, but still be realistic in realizing that those expectations may not hit, but if they do, great. And bet if they do, I'm absolutely going to go back and use this voicemail from Darius for petty reasons. I am. But outside of that, we'll see. And so I'm not going to knock anybody that has hope. I think people should have hope in their team. And I think it says something about the state of where this Bears team is if people do have hope that this team can contend for the playoffs. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be difficult. It's not going to be a cakewalk at all. And the Bears, much like I just said in the last voicemail, they got to prepare for every game like it's a Super Bowl. And let's see if they can take care of that. All right, let's get into this next voicemail, man. This one is from Xavier.
What's going on, guys? This is Xavier calling in, man. And I just want to speak about the trade deadline, man. I feel like a lot of people are over-exaggerating, for sure, because what you got to understand is this is the business. And I feel like most fans, they don't care about the business side. They just pretty much care about their fandom, and they root for a team, and they want to have, like, these all-star teams. They're like, why didn't you trade for Myles Garrett? Why didn't you trade for Max Crosby or this guy, that guy? Bro, did y'all see what they traded Sauce Gardner for? He yielded 2 first-rounders, and Sauce Gardner is probably a top 10 corner in the league, but, like, he's not top 5. So I wouldn't have gave up 2 first-rounders for him and a player, a really good player at that. Quentin Williams yielded back a lot as well. So what I'm looking at, like, man, like, bro, we have to, the fans need to start realizing, bro, this is the business at the end of the day. Ryan Poles is looking at it like this. Why would I invest all this money into one of these guys when down the road in a year or two, he's going to have to pay Caleb, Rome, and 2 years, I think he has to pay both of them or be coming up on paying them. Then he has to make a decision on Darnell Wright, Jaquan Brisker, if he wants to bring back a Grady Jarrett and all these type of people. Like, bro, all of his picks, he's going to have to pay. So the money that he's going to wrap up into some of these guys that are coming from other teams, he just can't do. So I feel like hold on to those picks, draft well, evaluate the talent well first, and make sure we get the right players in here. And then we'll be fine because we've been drafting okay. Like, it's not like that he's just been drafting bones. We have pretty good players. But, man, let me know how y'all feel about that Chicago up there now.
The Bears fans overreacting to the lack of deadline moves. Yeah, and, like Darius said in his voicemail as well, stay patient. You're not going to bet the farm yet. I've always said this. As fans, we can look at the now. We can just focus on the now. The people that are running the team can't just focus on the now. They have to think about the future. They have to think 2, 3 years down the road. They have to think all of those things, and that's what you want a really good front office to be doing. So fans can live in the right now. And Bears fans are like, oh, we should have made a trade for Max Crosby. We should have made a trade for this. We should have gave up a second-round pick. Again, fans live in the now. For, some fans, they see the future much like because they have to be objective and look at where this team is. And the front office definitely has. I don't want a front office that gets too caught up in the now. But like I said after the trade deadline, okay, you didn't want to give up those draft picks. That's fine. But now you have to hit on those draft picks. You can't then waste those draft picks that you held that you coveted so preciously that you didn't want to give up for a proven talent. Now you got to go out there and show what you're going to do with those draft picks. And that's the part where we'll see what the Bears do with, and the part that could calm some fans down as well if we hit on those draft picks. But all right, let's get into the last voicemail for today, man. This one is from James.
Hey, what's good, CBC? Third gen, back again. Haize, man. It's James, man. James from Zion. I know you got on me about that last call. But shit, Granny got a nickname for me. Mama got a nickname for me. Wife got a nickname for me. Active duty, so, I go by my last name. So here, man, I'm third gen, baby. But now I got a quick question, man. Asante Samuel Jr., as we all know, or probably know by now, he back up. He's gonna be taking meetings. I think Panthers, so you already talked to them. He's gonna be talking to the damn cheese heads. He's gonna be talking to Minnesota, the Niners, us on Tuesday, and then the Steelers on Wednesday. So if he even gets to us, what do you think it'll take to get him to sign? Because at this point, he's a coveted free agent, even coming off that spinal fusion. So what you think it'll even take, man? What type of assurances can we give him to sweeten the pot? You know what I mean? I'm brainstorming right now. It's like, so we got Jalen out. We got Kyler on IR. And you got to 1,000% believe he's better than Tyreek and Deshaun. So I'm guessing playing time, outside of the money, playing time, is going to be on the forefront of what he wants. But do you think, you know what I'm saying? So coming off a spinal, a prove-it deal is really kind of the norm. But do you think it would take a multi-year deal to even get him in the building and stay in the building? You know what I mean? But yeah, that's really all I got for today, man. Just what y'all think or get Asante Samuel in the building and stay in the building. And as always, man, Chicago up and bear down, baby. FGB, welcome.
What will it take to get Asante Samuel Jr.? I think you laid it out there, right? Role is definitely, like, there's no question role. And the Bears do have that role. Like, we have a gap there with Jalen Johnson being out, so we have the role to offer. Then, will it take a multi-year deal? Maybe. I think that maybe if he's joining a contender, maybe he's more willing to take a one-year deal. If it's going to come to the Bears, does it take a 2-year deal with some guaranteed money? Now, cornerback is a very deep position for us, so if we were to sign him to a multi-year deal, a 2-year deal to finish this season out, and let's say some guaranteed money next year, that's going to be then Jalen, Kyler Gordon, Tyreek Stevenson, Zay Frazier, who we drafted, Terrell Smith, right? Like all those guys. But then you look at the fact that you have Dennis Allen, and then you look at the fact of how Dennis Allen likes to incorporate backs, and that could lead you to, hey, maybe they are willing to do something like that. So I think it would take probably a 2-year deal to finish out this season and some partial guarantee money on next season. And do you want to make that risk? Or does he take a 1-year deal from a more contending team, which he is, having meetings with as well? Panthers, Packers, Panthers now, Packers, right? The Steelers, teams like that. So we'll see what if the Bears land him, great. I would love him here. We'll see what he can do getting back on the football field after spinal fusion. And like I said, at bare minimum, I don't think he could be worse than Deshaun Wright. So we'll see what happens there. But guys, thank you for everyone who did leave a voicemail on today's episode, man. That's going to do it for today. We appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys are following us at Chi Bears Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, ChicagoBearsCentral@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-242-9336. We are the #1 spot for everything Chicago Bears related, but that is thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, Chi-Town up, but bear down. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.